guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel, Nintendo Down Under. Starting a gaming collection in 2020, is it worth it? Can it be done? How can you start? Well, I'm going to get straight off the bat and say, don't do it. If you want to be a game collector in 2020, you want to collect retro gaming like myself and other people you see or other friends, now really isn't the time to go out and start there, because the prices of games and consoles, controllers, merchandise have gone through the roof the past 6 months. It is absolutely crazy. Some of the prices for games, I have been blown away. I've got one game here I'll give you an example with. This Formula 1 World Grand Prix 2 game I picked up, and it's in really nice condition as you can see. I picked this up 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, for like $30. 30 bucks. Now, you go online and look for this game, it's like $200 best offer, $300 best offer. People are watching this and like wanting to get it. It is crazy. That's what the prices are at the moment. These are the trending prices, which is insane. Other games like your traditional Zeldas and GoldenEyes, Mario Karts for the Nintendo 64, they've skyrocketed. The real rare games like StarCraft 64, that's the one I want to get out. That's like $6,000, and there's lots of people watching it. It is absolutely insane. Since COVID hit, we've seen Nintendo Switches and other consoles going out the window because people want to be able to game. We've seen retro consoles go out the window because people want to game. People want to collect what's old is new again. It is absolutely insane. So if you want to start a game collection or game collecting in 2020, I'd say hold off. Because if we go back 1 year ago, games were everywhere. You could go to your cashiers, secondhand stores, you can go online and you could find these games everywhere because people were trying to sell them. But now when you go online, there's limited because people are picking them up. So the ones that are there are skyrocketing because there's not as many to grab. It is absolutely insane. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you want to sell your stuff, now is the perfect time to do it. If you want to offload your retro collection, definitely look at doing it now, because people are after these things. People are after the games they played for as kids. Now they're getting older, with more time at home with COVID. Some people have extra money because they're not going out and spending it. They think, what can I do with it? Going online to keep entertained. All of a sudden, bang, these things are popping up. Games like this are popping up and think, oh, I've got a spare couple $100. I will purchase this. Crazy. $200, $300 for that? Absolutely insane. When I picked this up for 30 bucks. Yeah, that's just nuts. So if you want to sell things, now is definitely the time to go and do that, I think. You don't have to sell. Like, I was tempted. I wanted to sell the whole thing, but I wanted to sell it in one go. That was pretty unlikely. It didn't quite happen. But, you know, I've leveled my head now. I'm not selling, I'm keeping. But even I was tempted because the prices of things were insane, and obviously money can be used in so many different ways. If you want to offload your consoles, your games, your collection, because you want some money, now's the time. But you know, who knows, in 12 months time it might plateau out again. You know, this might be only worth 50 bucks again or something, because all the people out there are starting to buy things, or more people are thinking, hey, I'll sell now. So everyone's selling, and all of a sudden there's abundant of stuff out there. It really goes in up and down trends. When I first started collecting, it was a little bit warm. It was hard to get certain stuff and certain consoles, but then it really calmed down last year. But now back in 2020, it is insane. Absolutely insane. So if you want to start collecting, I definitely say not the retro way. You need to look at things like Xbox games, PlayStation games, you know, Nintendo Wii U games, especially like PS3 and Xbox stuff. You can pick up heaps of bundles of game. I see people online trying to sell their bundles of stuff for pretty cheap prices. You can start there. Look at the 3DS. Now the 3DS has officially been discontinued. There's another way to start collecting, because yes, it's been discontinued and people are just clearing out their stock in game stores, but eventually people want to start collecting those games back again, because the 3DS had an amazing library of games. Like, my collection isn't massive of 3DS games and handheld, but it is a great range of games. There's so many cool games to get there. So if you want to start looking at those things, that can be done as well. You can start your collection off from that. But if you want to start your retro collecting, you know, your SNES, your NES, your N64, GameCube, I'd definitely say hold out, because the prices are absolutely insane. Yeah, I just can't get over it. I thought I needed to make a video on this, that if you're thinking about it, maybe hold off or find other avenues to collect. But you know, there are other ways around it. You know, look at games like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. I've seen in the last couple of weeks the prices of those games trend down because now people can able to pick it up on their Switch. That, you know, it's not as collectible now. If you want to be a collector to get those games for your system, fantastic. But if you want to collect those games because you want to play them, well, now you've got a different way to play them. So I've seen some of those prices trend down with your SNES Online. Some of the SNES games I've watched as well, they've trended down because the library on the Switch Online subscription, you can play all these different SNES and NES games. So not as many people having to go out and buy that console and get that game just because they can play it. They can actually play it on the new Nintendo Switch. So that's also happened with Star Wars Episode 1 Race. I've seen that trend down as well. So you've got to think about that as well, because Nintendo will eventually bring Nintendo 64 games or other SNES games to the Switch Online account. What games will that be? Nobody knows. Everyone's crying out for it. There's been plenty of speculation what that could be, but nobody knows just yet. So keep an eye out for that as well. If there's some games you want to start collecting and they come out on the online subscription, then bang, you can get those games if they trend down a bit, because they're not physical release copies as well. Like Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Race, it's on the Switch Online, it's a digital thing. So eventually, you know, in the future, in a few years down the past, or new consoles, like that'll be hidden away again. You won't have a physical copy of Star Wars Episode 1 Race on Switch, it'll be a digital game. So there's a way that, you know, that when those prices dip down because a digital releases come out, eventually it will trend up again because there's no physical release. But it might be different with Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64 and Galaxy, because there is a digital physical game bought. So things like that you have to consider as well. So really, to sum up, just take a breath. That, yeah, buying a collection now is difficult. Starting a collection now for real retro games, stuff like this, is very, very difficult. I wouldn't recommend doing it just yet, but you know, if you find cheap deals, or you know someone who wants to offload their stuff, then go for it. Like, go for it, get it. But yeah, don't be paying, please, don't pay $300 to $400 for a game like this. Like, it's a great game, but, well, it's an okay game. But that's insane. That's an insane price. It's up to us to bring the prices down on this stuff. But if you're watching this and you want to sell your stuff, then there's some good money to be made, possibly. But please, I beg you, for games like this and other games you look out there, don't go out and buy stupid amounts of money on games that aren't really worth it. Eventually they have to trend down. Like I said, $30 to $200, $300. I've banged on about it a few times already in this video, but that was just insane. I had to bring that one on specifically for this video because that was nuts. But I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on this topic. If you're starting a game collection, or if you're a collector out there and you're trying to add to your collection, what do you think about these trending prices? Because it is absolutely insane. I've said that a few times as well. Are you selling some of your stuff? Are you trying to find things and struggling because the prices of things are just out of control? Please leave me a comment down below. Love to hear everyone's feedback about that as well. Or do you have any other collecting tips for 2020? I haven't really talked about some little hidden gems, like I've talked about the 3DS. You can get lots of those games now, or you know, digital games. Yes, they're digital, but they're not a physical copy, so eventually people are going to want them again. Do you have any hidden tips for me? I'd love to hear your feedback on that one as well. And if you haven't already, guys, don't forget to like us on Facebook, Nintendo Down Under. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Nintendo Down Under. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.